Hello, this is Joey and welcome to Two Blokes from Blighty. Before we get into today's episode, we're going to hear from our very good friend, the very lovely Dan, from Casting Views.
Take it away, Dan.
Fancy taking a humorous trip down a random topic each week? You do? Well, you're in luck. Casting Views, presented by me, Dan, and a host of guests, bring you just that. With topics from the world of entertainment, science, sport, and everyday life, there's bound to be a topic that's going to inform and amuse. Catch Casting Views every Sunday on all listening platforms now.
Peak advertising. Love
Peak
Dan.
audio.
Although his accent is so thick in that I can't really understand what he's saying.
Not a blind word.
That's a joke that Dan told me about. Someone, they played that advert on another podcast that Dan is associated with. And someone got in touch with the host and said that they couldn't understand Dan because his accent was so thick. Which, like, come on.
Like, it's English, sure.
He's an incredibly eloquent man.
Yeah, he's got radio voice.
He does. He's got radio voice and just a beautiful face.
Yeah, very kissable.
Very kissable.
Wow.
We say that every time we play his advert. I think he might get a bit weirded out eventually.
It'll horseshoe around into being comfortable at some point, I'm sure. I'm on antidepressants. We feeling good today. This is Tim from Two Blokes from Blighty, and I'm joined by my brother, Joey Fitz.
Hello, Tim. What song is that?
That's Antidepressants by BB Nose, or Baby No Money.
BB Nose.
BB Nose. He hates
like
when
it if
people call him BB Nose.
I think I would hate if it was called BB Nose.
BB Nose.
I also like that, despite being called Baby No Money, he did a competition on his Twitter for a Baby No Money cosplay, and the best one gets 10 grand.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's got no money, because he's throwing it away like that.
He's just a man. He's just a normal man.
He's just an innocent man.
He's just an innocent man.
He is all over TikTok at the minute, by the way. I get TikToks with the song Check all the time because it's a really good song and I clearly like it. So TikTok, the algorithm knows I like it. And he is in every single comment section being like, yeah.
He's awesome. I think Baby No Money is brilliant. I think he advertised himself excellently.
Very, very well. Joey, how you doing?
I'm all right, Tim. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just back from Costco.
Back from Costco. What did you get from Costco?
Some chopping boards, some wine.
Wow. And you're not a Tory, or?
No, it's good to buy these things in bulk.
Oh, bulk wine and chopping boards.
Yeah, bulk chopping boards.
What if you just one night want to do absolutely loads of chopping?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Tim, we always start these episodes off in the same way. We bulk chop up a pub quiz question, so let's crack on with that, eh?
Pub quiz question of the week. Not a jingle, that's a sound effect at best.
What we have there is a fucking jingle, Tim.
Pub quiz of the week. As always, I'm going to go through some questions with Joey until he can't get an answer on one of them. That's going to be our pub quiz of the week. Our pub quiz question, I should say, rather.
We do that with the jokes as well. We should do it with every section. Just until one of us can't do something, that is our subject of the week.
That'd be it. Great.
That'd be an awful podcast.
Question 1, Joey. What classic novel written by Jane Austen explores the themes of love and class in the 19th century England?
Pride and Prejudice?
It is Pride and Prejudice. What the next one? What fantasy series written... Hold on. Who is the author of the fantasy series The Chronicles of Narnia, which includes The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
C.S. Lewis?
That is C.S. Lewis. What book by Aldous Huxley envisions a future society where citizens are controlled through pleasure and conformity?
Do I know this?
It's a very famous book.
Pleasure and Conformity.
Yeah, by Aldous Huxley.
You can say the name all you want to. As someone who doesn't really read...
It's just a cool name. I've started reading a book lately and I'm getting into it.
Really?
Yeah, the electric state.
Is the answer the electric state?
It's not the electric state.
Damn. I've been reading a book called Unfit and Improper Persons.
Interest.
It's about because the test that the English football game has for the official body for English football is called the Fit and Proper Persons test. If someone wants to buy a club, but there's loads of ways around it. So this is called Unfit and Improper. Tim, I don't know what the Aldous Huxley book is. I'm sure there'll be people out there that are screaming at me to say, look, it's the Terminator. But has there been a movie adaptation?
I don't know. I'll look it up real quick. I nearly said the name of the book then.
Minority Report.
No, but there was a TV series in 1998. Oh, sorry, a TV movie in 1998. So yes, there is a movie adaptation.
No, I wouldn't get it.
All right.
I'm not a reading guy. I don't have the attention span to read.
All right, well, that's our pub quiz question of the week. Which book by Aldous Huxley envisions a future society where citizens are controlled through pleasure and conformity?
That sounds awful. Have you read it?
No. But I'm not a big reader either.
Tim, what's on your jumper today?
This is a jumper. I might need to stand up to demonstrate the back of it. This is a jumper that I got in the Capcom store in Japan. It's got a little ampersand on it. It's a Monster Hunter jumper that's designed by a designer called Ann Chips.
Let's see the back.
Okay.
Chips.
There you go.
Oh, it's got a palico on.
Yeah, it's doing a Lucky Cat thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
Every single time I've seen you since you got back from your holiday, you've been wearing something that you bought in Japan.
I got a lot of clothes out there, and I need to have it clear out of my wardrobe as it is.
Fair enough. Tim, this episode, we are actually recording the Monday before it goes out. It goes out in 2 days' time. What day would that make the episode?
Look, I'm never any good. Hang on, let me work this out. Let me get a calendar real quick. Yeah, hang on. I don't know if that's coming up on the microphone or not. According to my notes here, that should be a Wednesday.
Wednesday, you say?
Tim and Joey talking loud. Holidays that make them proud. Calendar check every week. Which day holds the key? Valentine's is on a visit. Christmas Eve sometimes hits it. New Year's Eve can be found smiling on a Wednesday round. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Time to shake the mood. Celebrate whatever's there. Make the middle week a fair.
Tim, it is Wednesday, my dude.
It is Wednesday.
A few days for you.
Oh, yeah?
And some of them good, some of them not so good. I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of them. We're going to start off with Epilepsy Awareness Day.
It's important.
Are you aware of epilepsy?
I'm very aware of it.
Good. Do you have it?
No, but I know about it.
Cool. Little Red Wagon Day.
Well, like the traditional, like, American pull-along wagon?
Yeah, I think it's celebrating Little Red Wagon Day celebrates the memories in the making and the ones already being made.
Right, so the red wagon is more of a symbolic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Don't sound keen on that one.
Nah.
National Spinach Day.
I like spinach. I know not everyone does. I got a friend of mine who absolutely loves, the spinach that you get in a can that's all, like, watery.
That's vile.
He absolutely loves it.
I feel like if the sentence starts with, the sentence ends with "in a can," it's never a good thing.
It's not great.
Did you ever see that that thing ages ago? I think it was on Vine that it got big, of the guy who just lives off Christmas dinners in a can.
Yeah, that is an existence.
That is the saddest thing. Like chicken in a can. It's just horrendous.
I've said this on the podcast before. I'm not a big fan of the idea of canned meat outside of Spam. And I think I know exactly where it comes from. There's a picture of, like, an entire, like, chicken in a can.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, coming out of the can. It's like covered in the jelly. It's awful.
It's the reason I don't really like pork pies.
Sure, yeah.
I feel like a pork pie is really nice, but then when you get a mouthful of that, just there's loads of jelly. It's like. We have National Nougat Day.
Yeah.
You had a better reaction to spinach than nougat, so well done.
I
you,
prefer
Tim.
spinach to nougat.
And then Manatee Appreciation Day.
Oh, that one. That one.
It was first on my list, but I saved it till last because I knew.
Bloody love a manatee.
Yeah. Yeah, dugongs, they're the cow of the city. Dugongs, also known as the manatee.
Yeah.
That was an old Weeble and Bob cartoon.
That's a very old Weeble and Bob reference.
Right, so this Wednesday is Manatee Appreciation Day. And Tim, how do you want people to celebrate?
Everyone go get one. Go get a manatee.
Get one. Get a pocket-sized one. Keep it in your pocket and use it to pay for your contactless goods.
Sure.
Right, Tim. You teased me a little bit with a section this week. You said that the history section is a corker.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this find.
In true Two Blokes fashion, I can't. There it is.
History. Joey, how do you feel about people being really petty?
Really good. I'm all for it. Yeah, petty nature is the bread and butter of my existence.
Great. What about when people take pettiness to a real extreme?
I'm there for it. I'm well on board. Yeah.
Great. Well, this is a story all about that. So
nice.
Charles Crocker was born in 1822 into a humble family in upstate New York. He was forced to leave school at the age of 14 to help support his family, so he took on a bunch of jobs, including being a farmhand, working in a sawmill, working as an apprentice in a blacksmith shop. And this is all while his family was like relocating to try and find a comfortable life for themselves. However, when news of the riches that could be made in California spread across the country, Crocker, along with his brothers Clark and Henry, led a group of 49ers. I don't quite know what those are, but that's what the article I found said.
San Francisco 49ers, they're a baseball team, Tim.
Got it. They led a baseball team on an overland journey to the Pacific coast, arriving in 1850. And after 2 years of mining, he realized that mining is not a good thing to do long term.
Yeah, hence they're in San Francisco now.
Yeah. So he realized it wasn't going to build his path to fortune, so he established a store in Sacramento, and by 1854, he'd become one of the city's wealthiest men, forming strong business ties with the following three people: Mark Hopkins, Collis Huntington, and Leland Stanford. And together, these four men played a super crucial role in California's economic expansion, known as the Big Four.
Okay.
Cool. Setting the stage. Crocker's initial business success brought about political opportunities, and in 1855, he was elected to Sacramento City Council, and by 1860, he'd secured a seat in the California state legislature. In the early 1860s, though, the Big Four initiated the construction of the Central Pacific Railroad, which would traverse the Sierra Nevada mountains to meet the Union Pacific Railroad coming from Nebraska.
Okay.
Crocker, this article that I found made a real point to like describe Crocker's height and weight here for some reason.
Okay, cool.
Standing at
Crocker
6
was
feet,
a portly gentleman.
standing at 6 feet tall and weighing over 300 pounds.
Okay, my guy.
Big dude. Crocker took charge of the railroad's construction, and as the contractor responsible for the project, he oversaw the hiring of laborers and acquisition of equipment, establishment of worker camps, management of payroll and accounts, and he often obtained land for the railroad by purchasing the right-of-way at the appraised price, whether or not the landowners agreed or not.
How does that work? So he's just throwing money at them.
Basically put money down, put a railroad down, and if they complain, it's there now.
I like it. Good.
Can't get rid of it.
Tactic.
Very brazen. Crocker was relentless in his pursuit of progress. Faced with labour shortages and financial constraints, He ended up employing low-wage Chinese immigrants and had them perform the grueling and hazardous work, a practice referred to as the coolie system, where he pushed them to their physical limits, pushing them to exhaustion and in some cases death. But he ended up setting the track laying speed and completing the railroad record in an astounding 7 years ahead of the government's deadline. A good portion of that line began construction in February 22nd, 1863, and it met the Union Pacific Line in 1869.
Okay, I'm yet to hear anything petty.
Sure, we'll get there in a paragraph or two.
Cool.
With this accomplishment, Crocker's influence for the business had greatly expanded, and he became the president of the Southern Pacific Railroad that connected San Francisco and Portland by rail, which at the time was revolution.
Yeah, of course.
He was also engaged in banking and industrial ventures in Northern California and profited as a real estate speculator. And additionally, he became an advocate for large-scale irrigation projects that saw California turn into a massive agricultural hub.
Okay.
All fine aside from the massive working of particularly Chinese immigrants.
Yeah, it's quite a heated topic.
It is. Now, we're going to introduce a new player to the game here. Mm-hmm. Nicholas Young, a German
Is this player
immigrant.
5 or one of the player 4s?
Player 5.
Player 5 has entered the game.
A young German immigrant who arrived in the US in 1848, and he led a very modest life, establishing himself in the mortuary business.
Okay, his name was?
Nicholas Young.
Okay, cool.
Young and his wife purchased a corner lot on top of the California Street Hill in 1855, where they built a simple home. And at the time, their steep ascent made their residents feel really isolated from the kind of bustling gold rush activity in San Francisco. But what it did do is have absolutely breathtaking locations. So from their lot, they could see, and you've been to San Francisco a couple of times, you'll have an idea of where stuff is. They could see the Golden Gate to the north, the Bay and the Berkeley Hills to the east, and the city growing and expanding to the south. So, really good spot. The property was absolutely bathed in fresh air and sunlight and offering a peaceful retreat. However, this all changed in 1878 when cable cars began running along California Street, making the previously remote hilltop one of San Francisco's most exclusive real estate areas.
Okay,
so
cool.
The quietness is gone. Fellow members of the Big Four, Leland Stanford and Mark Hopkins, built extravagant mansions atop what was now called Nob Hill. And not to be outdone. So Nob Hill's the first chuckle here. Not to be outdone, though, Crocker also sought to construct a mansion even higher on the till, featuring a 75-foot structure that would showcase his wealth and dominance over the city.
Okay, I like it. I'm a fan.
He's quickly becoming a supervillain.
Did he make... Is this Coit Tower?
It's not Coit Tower.
That would be funny.
It became common for these wealthy people to purchase entire city blocks, demolish the homes, and make way for their opulent estates. Most property owners would sold their land willingly, offering even getting a really tidy profit sometimes. Sometimes one person even got a uplift on their asking price of $25,000, which at the time was a lot of money. Crocker, eager to follow suit, began acquiring properties for his mansion. However, unlike his wealthy peers, he refused to pay the inflated prices. So he was like, "I'm not. This is my offer. I'm not going to make any adjustments for what everyone else is doing." Mm-hmm. When he offered Nicholas Young $6,000 for his home, Young said no and said the property was valued at $12,000. Okay. Sure. Crocker, getting accustomed to getting his own way, became furious at Young's refusal and issued threats and pressured Young a lot. But the Undertaker would not budge. Despite numerous offers, he was an undertaker. He worked in the mortuary business.
But at this point, did the lights go out and he go, gong,
dun, 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 dun. Despite numerous offers at market value, Young just refused to sell. As the construction on Crocker's mansion advanced, he grew increasingly frustrated and allegedly ordered workers when leveling Craig Hill with dynamite to direct the debris at Young's house.
Wow. The pettiness begins.
The pettiness really begins and ramps up very quickly. Young didn't do anything, though. He just kind of stood his ground with it. Then he ordered, because Crocker had bought all the properties surrounding Young's house, but not Young's house. So he ordered all the property and the land surrounding Young's house to be lowered, and that way, Young's house was basically just sat atop a weird dirt pedestal on this hill.
I think he'd like that.
I probably would, to be fair. Again, Young refused to sell. Desperate to try and force Young out, though, Crocker went round to Young's house with one last threat. In 1876, he said, "If you do not sell, I'm going to build a fence around your property." Okay. Young didn't sell. Crocker then spent $3,000 erecting a 40-foot fence around three sides of Young's property, cutting off almost all of the sunlight and airflow.
Wow. And the beautiful views.
I have a picture, actually, of the fence. It does spoil what the neighborhood called it.
Sometimes when you say things like 40-foot fence, it's really hard to imagine how high 40 foot is.
That's massive.
Oh my god, that's huge. So this is just a man swinging his dick about, isn't it?
So this 40-foot fence surrounded Young's property, but outside of Young's property lines, so he could do it, strictly speaking, and it deprived the property of light to the point that the Young family had to light candles in the day to see.
Wow.
And all their plants died. Their home became really damp and gloomy because of the lack of airflow. It became really moldy. But Young refused to sell. This fence, by the way, you can't quite see it in the pictures, had to have braces on it to stop the wind from blowing it over. It was that tall.
You can see it on the side where it says spite fence.
Yes. So Crocker's spite fence, as it was now known among the locals, became a notorious spectacle, and tourists often rode by cable car just to come and see it, marveling at the stark symbol of unchecked capitalist power over an individual. Newspapers condemned it, calling it Crocker's crime, and in the 1870s, the economic depression and high unemployment rate fueled anti-elite sentiments in San Francisco. The newly formed Workers' Party of California, a big bunch of racists, led by the fierce Dennis Kearney, capitalized on this resentment. Although the WPC was known for their anti-Chinese rhetoric, many members joined primarily due to labor concerns.
Okay.
So basically these people like the old 18 versions of "they took our job" because if you remember, Crocker had employed these underpaid Chinese workers. On October 28th, 1878, the WPC held a rally atop Nob Hill. Burning lime barrels illuminated Crocker's mansion, and extravagant beacon of inequality. Armed guards stood to watch over the home in case the $1 million art collection were to be damaged.
Oh my god.
Ready to repel a riot before 2,000 enraged workers, Kearney bellowed threats against capitalists, promising if Crocker did not remove the fence by Thanksgiving, the WPC would tear it down themselves. But they also added the note, but they need to sort the Chinese problem first.
Wow. I like these people a lot less.
Yeah.
I like them a lot less than I like the humble German man who is surrounded on three sides by a 40-foot fence.
It's a ridiculous fence. Kearney was arrested 2 days later for inciting a riot, and he was released just before Thanksgiving, but the WPC never acted on this threat. And Kearney instead shifted his focus again even more to his more anti-Chinese agenda. The fence remained up.
Can I just say that them not acting upon their threats is very in keeping with groups like that.
Yeah. 2 years later, a photographer.
Wait, sorry, how long has Young been living with this 40-foot fence surrounding his house?
About 3 or 4 years at this point.
Fucking hell. Okay, cool.
2 years later, a photographer, Edward Muybridge, unknowingly captured the fence in a panoramic shot of San Francisco. So that's what that's where that comes from, the spite fence photo. And if anyone wants to look it up, just look up spite fence. despite public outrage, Crocker's wealth shielded him from legal consequences. A frustrated Nicholas placed a coffin on the roof of Crocker's mansion in one last defiant act against his wealthy neighbour. But the problem was that because of how tall the fence was, that Crocker couldn't see it anyway.
That was not a very well thought out plan, Nicholas.
It was not. Eventually, the young family could no longer bear the conditions and relocated, moving their house to another lot on Broderick Street. And after the departure, Crocker reduced the fence to a 25-foot tall fence.
Of course. Well, that's much better.
It's much better, but he left it standing to devalue the Young's land because the family still owned it.
Wow.
Time passed, and later that year, both Nicholas Young and Charles Crocker died, and the fence remained. By the time Rosina Young, the wife, passed away in 1902, the lot was worth about $80,000. In 1904, the Young's descendants finally sold the land to the Crocker's heirs, leading to the fence's removal. But 2 years later, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake and fire consumed the mansion and the fence, and neither were rebuilt.
Good. Fuck 'em.
What stands now is the Grace Cathedral, where Crocker's grand estate once was, and it has a memorial to the Young family.
Fuck Charles Crocker.
Yep.
Poor Nicholas Young.
Yep.
And obviously his wife and family. The spite fences.
It's awful, but hilarious.
Wow. It's such a long-term play. I'm going to absolutely remove you from sunlight. It's just ridiculous.
So they only had the north-facing wall, effectively, that wasn't there.
Didn't you say that the north was where the Golden Gate Bridge was?
Yes, it was.
So they get the lovely view all the same. Now it's just framed.
Yeah, it's just got a lovely frame around it.
Thank you, Crocker, for your dickheadery and giving us a lovely view of the Golden Gate.
He's such a dickhead.
My favourite fact about the Golden Gate is one that everyone knows. They have to constantly paint it because it's so up against the elements. And it's so big, by the time they finish it, it's time to start again on the other side. Mm-hmm. So it's a team of people's full-time job to paint the Golden Gate Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's insane, isn't it?
It's just open to sea, water, and ocean air, and winds, and storms, and earthquake.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the most depressing documentary I've ever watched?
Is this the one about the people who jump off the Golden Gate Bridge?
People who travel from all over the country to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. In my mind, I saw the thumbnail and I saw Golden Gate. I was like, oh, I've got such happy memories of Golden Gate Bridge. I loved time going to San Francisco as a kid, and yeah, this is great. And then I started watching it, and I was like 10 minutes. I was just like, all of the colour drained from my face, and I just wanted to melt into a puddle and just cry.
Everything's very sepia.
Very sepia. Tim, good history. Thank you very much. We spoke a little bit before we started recording about a section that I was going to do, and then I said I wouldn't. But actually, do you know what, Tim? I want to do it.
Balls to it.
Balls to it. And speaking of balls...
Renner up from the back. El Mahani right foot. Whips it. Oh, jeez, beeps, man.
Now Sam Maxima might have a chance to run and does. Can he play a colleague through? It's Jacob Murphy. Released. Murphy one-on-one. Jacob Murphy to win it. Oh, it's a bullet in the net! Oh, O'Connell's mistake. McGinn.
And of course, I love this game!
I love hearing that O'Connell's mistake, McGinn Green. It's just the best piece of commentary. Peter Drury, you are a legend. Tim, I want to tell you a story, a very short story, about something that happened this week. Oh. A top-flight Bulgarian football team held a minute's silence before their game in the top league of Bulgaria. Mm-hmm. So, Arda Karzali, their game against Levska Sofia in Bulgaria's top league, started off sometimes in the way it does when a player passes away or someone associated with the club and they have a minute's silence, or sometimes they do a minute's applause. Arda Karzali decided they needed to have a minute's silence for their former player, Petko Ganchev, who passed away earlier that week.
Sure.
One problem, Tim.
What's that?
Ganchev was fine. He was completely alive.
Oh.
He said he was driving at the time and his phone started ringing a lot. But I'm a responsible driver, so I didn't dare pick it up.
Good
I
man.
parked outside the front of my house and entered the yard. My wife welcomed me in tears and said, Petco, Petco. On television, they announced you were dead. I couldn't understand what she was telling me and what had happened. She explained that they called her phone and told her what they heard, and they would have a minute's silence in the game between Arda and Levski. And this quote is fantastic, Tim. This is how he ended the interview with the news when they found out he was alive. To bury you alive is very stressful. Truthfully, the situation was not pleasant. But at the end of the day, we have to be positive. Here, yesterday, when I heard the horrible news, I poured myself a small brandy.
Oh, it's got a funny ending.
There you go. He's
It's a
still
bit like-
alive.
It's a bit like that Romanian guy a few years ago, I don't know if you remember, who had to tell the court that he wasn't dead.
That's
He-
good.
So he was trying to get like his license renewed or something, and the this court were just like, we can't renew a license for a dead guy, and he's like, I'm not dead, I'm writing to you.
That is funny.
It's very funny.
That is good. But yes, Tim, just thought you'd enjoy Petko Ganchev's story of how he's not actually dead.
That is good.
Yeah, there you go. That was I Love This Game this week. I'm going to try a bit harder with I Love This Game. I feel like I don't bother a lot of the time. So, yeah.
Why don't we send it to other sports?
Because I don't care about other sports. Apart from the NFL, go Pack Go. I don't really care about other sports. So
What about baseball?
I have to tell you, Tim, there is enough stories in soccer or football. I feel a bit dirty having said soccer. There's enough stories within football to do this weekly. Like there's the new World Cup trophy is a really interesting one. The president of FIFA is a strange superhero, supervillain, not hero. He looks a lot like what's Superman's arch enemy called?
Lex Luthor?
Lex Luthor. He looks a lot like Lex Luthor. And he announced, because the World Cup in a few years' time is being taken part in America, Canada, and Mexico, Gianni Infantino has been having loads of conferences and shit with Donald Trump. And sorry, I should take a leaf out of Josh's book, The Orange What's It Man. Sure. And he's been showing off the new World Cup trophy. Because you know the World Cup trophy, it's not a cup.
It's a big thing with a ball on top.
It's someone holding up the world.
Oh, is that what it is?
It is. Now this one is even less like a cup, Tim. I just want you to look up the new World Cup trophy.
World Cup trophy, 2025, 2026?
Just search new World Cup trophy.
No.
It requires a key to unlock the trophy.
What do you mean?
It's like a plate. It's a big flat shield.
Well, I've just got it here, and like it kind of splits out into like a gyroscope looking thing.
Yeah, and it's like solid gold. I think FIFA might be the only body that could teach the What's It Man how to be more corrupt.
Well, have you seen their meeting room, the really famous one?
FIFA's?
Yeah.
No.
I've just put it in our chat.
Oh yes, it's the most
like
supervillain shit you've ever seen.
It's a black room with black walls and black chairs and black desks with a singular giant ring light above this square table, presumably so they can plot where things are going to go in the world.
Yeah. Did you ever see? There's a comedian called Simon Bodkin. You might know him. You might know him better as Lee Nelson.
Lee Nelson.
So he used to do a show called Lee Nelson's Well Good Show, where his whole shtick was that he was a bit of a chav.
Oh, God, I remember this guy.
So he's really clever, and he's gone on and done loads of stunts instead of sketch shows. And he did one when the then president of FIFA was talking at a conference. His name was Sepp Blatter. Sepp Blatter was arrested for corruption and accepting bribes.
I think I've heard this story because I remember the name Sepp Blatter.
Simon Botkin interrupted just before Sepp Blatter started speaking and said, "Here's the money for the World Cup, Sepp," and threw what everyone assumed was fake money in the air. But actually, what he did was he had to, because you can't fake money in Switzerland where FIFA are based. He had to throw wads of real money, and he threw 7,500 euros in notes into the air at FIFA headquarters before he was escorted out of the building. And upon being escorted out, do you know what happened?
What's that?
They gave him the money back.
Oh.
They gave him the money and said, "We never want to see you here again." That was it. That was his whole punishment.
I mean, that's not the worst.
No, it's pretty good as far as it goes.
Huh.
But yeah, there you go, Tim.
Neat.
FIFA's evil corporation. What do you want to do? Do you want to talk some bonus stuff, or do you want to go right into jokes?
What bonus stuff are you thinking?
Well, you looked up some funny news.
I did look up some funny news. I found one where a man was trying to smuggle cocaine under a wig.
You've got me. Talk to me.
All right. Is
that the story?
I mean, that's the long and short of it. But he smuggled about $8,000 worth of cocaine under his wig at the airport, and there's just some photos and videos of security peeling off a wig full of cocaine.
I gotta tell you, it's pretty good as far as places to smuggle. People think up the jacksy's the one, but under your hair is.
Well, how do you suspect that unless your hair's like weirdly dandruffy that day?
Exactly.
But the other one I found while looking, and I didn't mention it to you because I think little rodent funny things. Scientists are trying to bring back the woolly mammoth and instead created the woolly mouse.
Oh, that's so cute.
There's a picture of it.
Is it really cute and woolly?
There you go. It's a little woolly mouse.
I mean, that is just a mouse with long hair.
With long blonde hair. He's fucking beautiful, to be honest.
I like him.
But the whole thing is that Colossal Bioscientists are a company that do bio research, unveiled in 2021 plans to bring back the woolly mammoth like it's the McRib. And then they want to do the dodo after that. And so far in their progress for their pursuit for progress, they've got the wool and they've got the animal that starts with an M, but that's about as close as they've got.
I like it. I think they've done better than they thought.
It's cute. I like it. He's just a little guy, but yeah, it's neat, I guess.
Tim, I saw something on a podcast that I'd like to try with you, if that's okay. It's nothing to do with anything that we've just spoken about, but I remembered we were going to do it last week, and then you spoke about Japan for 2 hours, and
it was a long episode.
It was a long episode, but it was good. It was fun. I hope everyone enjoyed turning down our vocal speed because we had to speed it up for the recording, which was a clever move, by the way. But also, as a result of it, I do think we need to leave our current provider, which you can see in the description of this episode, and go back to our old one.
Fuck 'em who need.
Exactly, Tim. Right, so this is a simple word association.
All right.
Tim, there's no point to this. I'm choosing the words at random. I'm just really interested in what you have to say.
I feel like there's going to be some sort of bit. I feel like there's going to be
I promise you,
planned word at the end.
There's no bit. I'm really keen to understand what you do with word association. Now, the rule of this, you have to say the first word that comes to your head when I say a word. And I don't want any of this. I say red and you go, blue. I want red, blue.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
You want to do this?
All right, let's go for it.
Immediate answers, okay?
Okay.
Money.
Bills.
Too slow. Too slow. Need to be quicker.
Yeah.
Okay. Car.
Fast.
Too slow. Need to be quicker.
That was as quick as my brain goes.
No, Tim. The first word, okay?
That's what it was.
No. Mouse.
Fast.
Quicker. If I can breathe between it, it's not quick enough, Tim.
God, you're going to be hyperventilating between it at the speed you want this.
Spite.
Dog.
That was what I'm talking about. That was the right speed.
That was me just preemptively having a word ready, though.
Well, listen to what I'm saying and then react immediately.
There's my brain's not that quick.
Work on your reactions. Fence.
Dog.
You're not taking this.
No, I
seriously,
did
Tim.
that time.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Sonic.
Fast.
Okay, all right. That was still a bit slow, but I'll allow it. Money.
Fast.
What is the point if you just say fast or dog to everything?
I just want to see a fast dog. That's all I want.
Fight.
Fist.
Too slow.
Oh my God, I don't know what you want from me. I've got to listen to the word first.
Bloke.
Hair.
That was okay. Hair.
Dog.
Stop thinking about dogs. Jungle.
Glasses.
What are glasses?
I just looked over at my webcam and saw some glasses.
Recycle.
Green.
It's quite slow, but it's okay. Video.
Games.
Games.
Pod.
Pod.
Mus.
Oh no. Casting.
Fuse.
Talking.
Smack.
Northern.
Boy.
Space.
Dog. Is this what this podcast has become? It's just one word at a time. Word.
No, but
associated.
I was trying to get something into who you are as how your brain works, but apparently it's just dog and fences
And fast.
fast dogs. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, Tim. I really wanted to try it on you, but all I got was
I think we
dogs.
learned a lot.
Dog. Way too slow.
I was having a drink.
Way to drink.
Dog.
Not okay. Not
No?
okay. No.
All right, fine.
No. Let's
Here's
move
your
on to
jokes.
fucking jokes. I'm sick of this podcast.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Jingle.
Jingle.
All right, this is our joke of the week. So I won't do that anymore, Tim. This is our joke of the week section. Well, you're a twat. This is what Tim and I will tell each other jokes in a bid to make the other person laugh. When you are being told a joke, it's your mission not to laugh. But if you do break, that joke becomes our joke of the week. Tim, I have 10.
I also have 10.
You can go first.
All right. Got a text from a girl. Said, come on over. There's no one home. So I went over. She was right. There was no one home.
Dog.
Doesn't count as a joke.
Damn. Tim, hard work pays off later. But laziness pays off now. Dog.
Is that a joke or just like a philosophical thing? I feel like I'd see that on a poster.
I want it printed in words on my wall next to my live, laugh, laugh.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, fluff.
Live, laugh, love. Okay. Everyone knows who Bruce Lee is, right? You know who Bruce Lee is, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? No one ever talks about his brother, though. Sutton.
I think I might have had this joke when we spoke to Dan from Casting Views.
Ah.
I've definitely told that one fairly recently. Tim, the last time I was someone's type, I was donating blood.
That feels like a Amy Schumer, D. Reynolds bit.
I really hate Amy Schumer.
But we love D. Reynolds.
We do love D. Reynolds.
I saw a sign the other day that made me shit myself. It said bathroom closed.
That was good. I was thinking about you putting on a toilet seat and I nearly laughed. But I didn't. Tim, I'll never forget my uncle's last words.
Swear to God, for kick the bucket.
Erase my search history.
Sound advice.
Good.
Advice. I feel like Josh is going to like this one. If Annie is short for Anakin, and Ben is short for Obi-Wan, and Fives is short for CT275555, and R2 is short for R2D2, and Chewie is short for Chewbacca, what's Luke short for?
Lukenin.
No, Stormtrooper.
Okay, because he's short in the Stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah.
Know your audience, Tim. It's Josh from Talking Smack.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's addicted to drinking brake fluid, but he says he can stop at any time. I think you might have told me that one.
I think I might have told that one as well.
Right.
A man walks into a bar and there's a sign that says, ham sandwiches, $5. Cheese sandwiches, $3. Hand jobs, $10. And he goes,
this one the other week, Tim.
Do you want
Tell
to
it.
stop it now? Okay. Goes to the bartender and says, are you the one who gives out hand jobs? And she says, yes, I am. He goes, great, go wash your hands and I'll have a cheese sandwich.
Yeah, sorry, I told it the other week. The only thing that flat earthers fear is sphere itself.
Good play on words.
Thanks.
Bouncer says, I'm going to ask you to leave, sir. And the guy says, why? And he says, the bouncer says, I have no idea who you are and this is my trampoline.
Good use of the word bouncer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Today was the worst day of my life. My ex got hit by a bus, and I lost my job as a bus driver.
They could
Women,
be connected.
am I right?
Am I right, fellas? What's the difference between a tire and 365 condoms?
Don't know.
One's a good year and the other's a fucking great year.
I agree. Good. Tim, I thought opening a door for a lady was good manners, but she just screamed and flew out the plane.
It's the location that I didn't expect. Sure.
I laughed at my own joke.
A naked man broke into a church. The police chased him around and they eventually caught him by the organ.
Painful.
Yeah, a little predictable.
Welcome to Plastic Surgery Anonymous. Nice to see so many new faces.
Smart. The 7 dwarves were all taking a bath and feeling happy. Happy doesn't like it though, so they all felt grumpy instead.
That was good. It nearly got me.
Oh, nearly.
Really good. Stop elephant poaching. Everyone knows the best way to eat an elephant is grilled.
So I was thinking fried. It's my last joke, but it's a long one.
Can I tell my other one before you tell a long one? Because I always laugh at the long one.
Sure.
My wife is mad that I ruined our anniversary. That's weird. I don't even know when it is.
It's a classic case of stereotypical male incompetence.
Women, am I right, fellas?
Women. All right. Long joke. An Afghan, an Albanian, an Algerian, an American, an Andorran, an Angolian, a Argentine, an Armenian, an Australian, an Austrian, an Azerbaijani, a Barmenian, a Bahraini, a Bangladeshi, a Bardanian, a Botswanian, a Belarusian, a Belgian, a Belizean, a Benese, a Bhutanese, a Bolivian, a Bosnian, a Bosnian, a Brit, a Brazilian, a Bulgarian, a Burmese, a Cambodian, a Cameroonian, a Canadian, a Central African, a Chadian, a Chilean, a Chinese person, a Colombian, a Comorian, a Costa Rican, a Croatian, a Cuban, a Czech,
really
a Dane.
only on C.
We're on a Dane, a Dominican, a Dutchman, an East Timorese, an Ecuadorian, an Egyptian, an Emiranian, a Equatorial Guinean, an Eritrean, an Estonian, an Ethiopian, a Fijian, a Filipino, a Finn, a Frenchman, a Gambian, a Georgian, a German, a Greek, a Grenadian, a Guatemalan, a Guinea-Bissau, a Guinean, a Haitian, a Honduran, a Hungarian, a Icelander, an Indian, an Indonesian, an Iranian, an Iraqi, an Irishman, an Israeli, an Italian, a Jamaican person, a Japanese person, a Jordanian, a Kazakhstani, a Kenyan, a Kitayan, a Kuwaiti, a Laotian, a Latvian, a Lebanese, a Liberian, a Liechtensteiner, a Lithuanian, a Luxembourger, a Macedonian, a Malawian, a Malaysian, a Monacan, a Mongolian, a Moroccan, a Botswanian, a Mozambican, a Nambanian, a Nepalese, a New Zealander, a Nicaraguan, a Nigerian, a North Korean, a North Irishman, a Norwegian, an Omani, a Pakistani, a Palestinian, a Papua New Guinean, a Pole, a Portuguese, a Kuwaiti, a Romanian, a Russian, a Rwandi, a St. Lucian, a Salvadorian, a Samoan, a Sao Tomanian, a Saudi, a Scottish, a Senegalese, a Serbian, a Sierra Leonean, a Singaporean, a Slovakian, a Slovenian, a Somali, a South African, a South Korean, a Spaniard, a Sri Lankan, a Sudanese, a Swazi, a Swede, a Swiss, a Syrian, a Tajik, a Tanzanian, a Tongolese, a Tongan, a Trinidad or Tobagan, a Tunisian, a Turk, a Tuvalian, a Ugandan, a Ukrainian.
Sorry, Tim, can I just stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
This is not going to make me laugh.
A Venezuelan, a Vietnamese, a Welshman, a Yemenite, a Zambian, and a Zimbabwean all go into a bar. And the barman says, "I'm sorry, I can't let you in without a tie."
There's no joke of the week this week.
Ah!
That would have been really good if you stopped like 10 minutes before you did. That went on so long that I went and found a stream of the football and I've watched the last 4 minutes of the England-Latvia game. So there you go. Joke section for everyone there.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Tim, can I just say the white jumper is giving me... Have you watched any of Severance?
No.
You should. It's very good. You're giving me Milchek vibes.
It's giving Milchek.
It's giving Milchek. If you don't know who Milchek is, let me see. Can you send GIFs directly on Discord?
Yeah, I think so.
Hold on. Let me see if I can send a Milchek. Here you go. That's the perfect GIF for him. So, there he is.
Oh, there he is. He's grooving.
Mr. Milchek is... He's a baddie, but my God, he's one of my favourite characters at the moment. He's fucking brilliant. Do you know what Severance is about?
Business.
Business, yes. It's just about business.
Business.
Basically, the guy from Parks and Recreation, Adam Scott, who plays Ben Wyatt in Parks and Rec.
I thought I saw him on the thumbnail, yeah.
Yeah. He plays a guy who works for a corporation called Lumen, but the work that he does is so secretive that they implant a chip into his brain so that when he gets in the elevator and goes down to the severed floor, he loses all his memory of the outside world. And then when he goes back up, he loses all his memory of the in-work world. So there's essentially two people that he's living the lives of, his innie and his outie. It's
human
really,
belly button.
Yeah, it's human belly. It's really fucking good. It's really weird. Like, the first series is good. The second series is mega weird. That GIF is from the second series.
It looks...
Well, that's their office space.
Complete with the RGB lighting.
Exactly. But I'm not going to give spoilers because it only finished this week, just gone.
Oh, wow.
But they've just renewed it for season 3. So there's 2 seasons. I don't know when. It's also directed by Ben Stiller, which you'd be pleased to know.
Interesting.
But seriously, it's on Apple TV. If you have a means of watching Apple TV, wink, wink, Severance is a wicked one to give a go.
All right, I'll check it out.
Thoroughly recommend it. And let me know what you think as well. Although it does have the worst introduction to a TV show I've ever seen.
All right.
As in the intro music and pictures that go with that music, whatever that's called.
What was the intro theme for Black Book? I remember that not being particularly great.
Film studies, bachelor's degree in film, forgot what it's called when they start a TV show with a movie and song. I can't remember the Black Book's introduction.
I remember being kind of janky and felt like it was thrown together, but I feel like that was by design.
Black Book's intro.
For anyone who hasn't seen Black Books, by the way, it's an absolutely great British sitcom.
It's okay. I would say it's like B tier sitcom. I know it's B tier. I would put it on.
No, I don't need a UGC marketer for my services on Fiverr. Fuck off.
You do. Tim, the other thing, I just wanted to finish my bit and then I'll let you get to your pub quiz question. It's 3-0 to England, by the way. Pablo Picasso, Tim.
Yeah.
How familiar are you with Pablo Picasso's work?
I feel like I get him mixed up a lot with other artists, but if I saw it, I'd recognize it.
Okay, cool. Pablo Picasso, like, when you think of his art, let me just post one in here. So because he's got a very familiar art style. Not familiar, a very distinct art style. So, if you saw this, you'd know it was a Picasso immediately, right?
Yeah.
When would you say that was painted?
Oh, this is going to be like, this was done last week or something.
No, it's not. When was Picasso making his paintings?
50s, 60s, I want to say.
50s or 60s? Is that really your guess? Are you guessing this to compensate one way or the other?
No, I thought he was like a 60s guy.
He did in 1973. I always thought of Picasso as like classic art, but actually the dude was alive for 60 years whilst Mountain Dew was on the planet.
That's a weird crossover of things.
He drove around. He saw England lift the World Cup. He saw he was born in 1881, so he died at the age of 91. But in 1973, it's weird to me. I always put him like with Van Gogh, who's late 80s. He died, or and like Salvador Dali died in 1989.
I've just looked up a thread of what are two events that took place at the same time in history but don't seem like they would have taken place at the same time.
Okay.
I've got one here. The filing cabinet was invented the same year as the remote control boat, 30 years before sliced bread.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
How do we have remote control vehicles before bread?
Well, it can't be the best thing since sliced bread. They used to say the best thing since remote control vehicles.
Yeah. Apparently, the Mongolians were fighting the Crusaders at the same and the samurais at the same time.
Wow. Yeah, that kind of stuff fascinates me. But the Picasso stuff really made me laugh when I heard a comedian talking about it, how he could have gone to McDonald's if he wanted. So it just really made me laugh.
It's very funny.
Right, Tim.
Sorry, I've just got another one here, and then I promise I'll stop. The first wagon of the Oregon Trail. When you think of the Oregon Trail, what do you think of?
I think of that video game.
Sure, but in terms of like eras, like kind of cowboys and stuff, right?
Really, like probably late 1700s.
Do you know what was invented the same year?
Go on.
Fax machine.
Wow.
That's.
They didn't even need to go. They could have just faxed ahead.
Just faxed ahead. Yeah.
Should we come? And they fax back and say, no, it's dangerous. Don't do it.
Rivers and stuff.
Rivers and
lots of
snakes.
dysentery.
So much dysentery. I'd love to do the Oregon Trail. Fax back. Would you like to shit yourself to death? No, I think not.
No.
Right, Tim. Let's do our pub quiz question of the week and let's get out of here.
Let me find it again. Good thing I highlighted it this time. What book by Aldous Huxley envisions a future society where citizens are controlled through pleasure and conformity?
Citizen Kane.
It's not Citizen Kane. I'm going to give you two more guesses. Famous
Tim,
book.
I don't know. Just tell me.
Brave New World.
Never heard of it.
I
have heard of it. That was a massive lie. No, I have heard of it. No idea what it's about, but now I have a brief synopsis.
Yeah.
Right, Tim, anything you want to say to our wonderful listeners who have managed to listen to this drivel for an hour?
Take that, you bastards.
Take that, you bastards. We're going to do something a little bit different and end with an advert for our very good friends over at the Biased Anime Podcast. You can find that on this feed. Their latest episode came out on Monday, 24th, so check it out. Even if you don't like anime, as I famously have said, I think it is cartoons. I think Pete and Sky do a fantastic job of talking it through in a way that is accessible if you love anime and if you don't as well. So here is the BAP advert, and we'll see you in a week's time.
Bye.
Hello, this is Sky and Jacka from the Biased Anime Podcast,
where we battle to crown our picks to be the winner of Head to Head, where we debate different animes, characters, films, and more to see which one is better.
Winner gets the glory, loser picks the next topic.
Who wins? We decide.
With some healthy banter and a sprinkling of actual reviews, this is BAP.
Biased Anime Podcast is completely biased, and listeners' opinions, while valuable, will not affect the outcome. Please drink responsibly.
I love
Such a
the
good-
head-to-head stuff.
I just love BAP. I think it's so good.
That's great.
Yeah, really looking forward to what they come up with next. Because I listened to it on day one. Now I've got to not wait another fucking 4 weeks. Anyway,
Do it.
take that, you bastards.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.